Okay, a few things to go over. As we go through the game, he'll have more things to tell us, like he'll add things on. But for right now, he starts off with a whole lot of stuff, so let's start going through it, see what he has to say. You actually can learn a good amount of useful information here. It's just that you probably would not actually spend all that much time talking with him here, since you're talking with him so much to begin with as you run through the level. Here he's just talking about the controls, and we know how that goes. We already know about it. We did the tutorial. We don't need to hear it again. What about junctions? I believe this is just talking about when you have different directions to go in. And then you press like the D-pad or the analog stick to choose the direction you want to go in. Right, and they have different colors as well to tell you where you've been and where you haven't been yet. What about vitality stats? It all makes sense. When the eye closes, the member weakens, and you need to strengthen the member by feeding it blood. It all makes sense. What he's talking about is the eyeball in the upper corner of the screen, that it's your health meter, and as you take damage it closes, and you use blood to cause the eye to open again, is what he means. So it's a very roundabout way of saying it. Let's talk about personalities. He's just telling us how to navigate the menu at this point. And I should hope someone would be able to figure that out without actually needing to be told. It's just items on the menu. You don't know what those items do at first, but you find out by experimenting. Right, go back to the menu. We're going to talk about items now. Right, since we got that one carrier pigeon, we could take a look at that note. We could read it again if we wanted to. Yeah, and we have done that. But what about maps? Not many places in this game that you really could get lost in, actually. Most of them are very simple layouts. It does get a little bit more complex than what we've seen here, but I don't think there's really anywhere in this game that you really could get lost in. I mean, I barely use the maps myself when I first played the game. Let's talk about multiple personalities. Talk about that right now. So, multiple personalities with multiple bodies, except all one person. Let's talk about remnant psyches. Psyches. Right, so we have seen a lot of these transparent people, including Iwazaru. They're really the only people that are talking to us. Right, so Iwazaru, he likes being dead. Like, he probably is having a better time now than he had when he was alive. He's found his purpose in that he is working for the Smiths. However, he did say that everyone that we see, all those translucent people, all the remnants, they were all killed by us. So if that holds true for everyone that we see like that, then I guess we should consider how those people might have died. Travis did say that he was killed on the job. Maybe we'll learn a little bit more about that later, I think. Let's talk about Harmon's room. Oh no! On the net all the time? Out of control. However, Iwazaru is correct that when she's in her casual clothes, she is a terror. We'll see a bit more about that later. Let's talk about the gatekeeper. Well, we haven't met him yet, but we have found one soul shell so far. What about combat info? Talking about gun battle. We already know how to fight with our gun. We took the tutorial. Right, so by scanning them the way we do, we force them to have a visible physical form. And if we didn't, they would just do that when they were just right up on us because they take physical form to explode and kill their victims. But we make them do it earlier so we can then shoot them. Maybe a little crazy. No, I think there has been time to aim. For most of these fights, I think that I've been able to take the time. He's telling us to use the auto-aim, but like I said, if we use that, we'll just aim right at the center of the enemy. We won't actually aim at the critical point. And if we did that, we wouldn't get nearly as much blood. But I think he's going to talk about that right here, talking about weaknesses. Don't worry, Iwazaru, I will not tell the Heaven Smiles that you told me about their weakness. Right, and it is good advice. We want to crit as many times as we can. And he's just telling us about how we can use thin blood to restore our health. We'll be up and at 'em. Though, of course, if we can be hurt, it does bring up the question of what happens when we die, and we'll talk about that next with body retrieval. Yeah, you know, when the persona is in the paper bag, press the A button to reanimate. We'll take a look at that later on, I think. We'll just go over what happens if someone dies and what you have to do at that point. But for right now, let's talk about Dan's special attack, the collateral shot that we saw previously. So he calls it a demon shell, though Dan clearly says collateral shot when he shoots that. And Kaede? We have not seen her special ability, but we have seen the scope. What is Iwazaru going to talk about? He is talking about the scope. There's also a non-combat ability that Kaede can do, but I think we'll see that next time. Let's talk about blood right now. Yep, give the blood to the doctor inside the TV. Obviously, we've done it. Right, we've seen a little bit of that. And of course, we'll see more of it as the game goes on. Blood absorption. Talk about that. Without blood, there really is no tomorrow, that's right. Huh. My life is in danger without blood. I never thought about it like that before. So blood, very important. Let's talk about awakening the personalities. Decadent murder does make the blood boil. So basically, when we enter a level, it might be the case that not all of the Killer7 are awake, and which ones are awake and which are not will change depending on the level. So we need to kill Heaven Smiles to wake them all up. Now let's talk about special abilities. Well, there are a lot of skills to talk about. What about Garcian's? So he's saying that Garcian, when we scan the Heaven Smiles and make them visible, that's Garcian's ability. Remember that he wears the vision ring, and that's what allows us to see the Heaven Smiles. So that's his particular ability. Also notice that Iwazaru referred to Garcian as the Chief. So he has a name for all of the different Killer7. Dan is the Hellion, Coyote was the Thief, Garcian is the Chief. And we'll hear about different names as we go on. What about Kaede's special abilities? And Barefoot is his name for Kaede, saying that she has the ability to break barriers. We haven't seen that yet, but I think we will next time. And these are past logs, things that we have already talked with him about outside of Harmon's room. And here are Heaven Smiles. Let's hear what he has to say about each of these. Iwazaru was suggesting that the Heaven Smiles are altered humans. Maybe we'll find out more about that later on. What about the Camellia Smile? That was the one that didn't actually attack us, but rather it ran away when we shot it. Right, so Camellia Smiles are traitors that want to help us, and they'll appear in places where we need to use skills. They won't attack us, but we can shoot them to get a whole lot of thin blood. What about the Micro Smiles?
As for the details, however, I considered the shot that appears perfect. The remnant squares the position of the squid. Is for the motive of the player's person that is marked with the damages. For you, see it as you permitted. To fail to satisfy the realities beyond the
Right, so the micro smiles are actually delivering supplies to the Heaven Smiles, and if we can shoot them, we'll get some stuff. If they're black and yellow, everyone gets healed. If they're red and blue, then we get a whole lot of blood. So we want to shoot them when they appear. One more to go, the duplicator. This was that sort of mini-boss smile that we had to use the collateral shot to fight. So what does he have to say about this one?
This is a strange effort to deliver as a list. The spheres fed onto us. The terms they get for us went straight to the line. The impress appears in the field. Let us piece of their tapestry as a rock with the layer of process. The real impress allows the good fights where it is the field. The real Now
on normal difficulty, that duplicator would have had a yellow core, which can be killed with just normal bullets, but on hard, on deadly, he had the red core, and we had to use the collateral shot for that. Normal bullets would not have done anything. Well, that's all of the information that Iwazaru has for us right now. He will expand on this as we go through, like for example, these special abilities. He will have things to tell us about the other characters' abilities, as well as different types of Heaven Smiles and such. So, we'll be going back to him every so often to see what he has to say and what new information he has to impart to us. But for right now, that's everything that he has, and that means that it's time to say goodbye to Iwazaru for right now, as well as to say goodbye to you, as we're going to be coming back next time for more Killer7, as we continue going through the building. We're going to reach the top of the building, and we're going to hopefully accomplish our mission. I'll see you next time for that.